一口中文。嗨，大家好，我是 Mindy，
我是九如。
Welcome back to Bitesize Basics. What are we talking about this week?
This week we're answering a question many students ask us. They often ask, 老师，我学的到底是什么？中文、汉语还是华语？
That's a great question. So our key sentence today is 我在学中文。
我在学中文。 Let's start with the most common word. 中文。
中文
What does it actually mean?
中文 literally means the Chinese language. It's the most general and neutral term.
But here's the important part. It's also very broad. When we say 中文, we're not referring to just one specific variety. It can refer to the entire Chinese language system.
Yeah, it can be confusing. Back when I taught in the US, parents often asked me if I taught Cantonese or Mandarin.
Which isn't wrong, it's just not very specific.
Exactly. So when we say 中文, we're using a big umbrella term. It can include Mandarin, Cantonese, and other varieties.
Now let's move to another word students sometimes hear. 汉语.
汉语. To understand this word, we need to look at the character 汉.
Han. Han originally refers to the Han ethnic group. So when we say 汉人, we mean ethnic Han people.
So when we say 汉语, we're referring to the language of the Han people.
In other words, this term connects language to ethnicity.
Right. That's why 汉语 sounds a bit more academic or linguistic. You'll often see it in textbooks, research papers, or formal context. So, if we compare it roughly, 中文 is the broad everyday term, while 汉语 sounds more technical and emphasizes the Han ethnic background.
If Han focuses on ethnicity, what about another word students often hear? 华.
华 Good question. 华 feels a little different. While Han focuses on ethnicity, 华 is more about cultural identity.
One word you might have heard is 华人,
华人
which refers to people of Chinese cultural background.
Yes, it doesn't necessarily refer to nationality. For example, someone can be Malaysian, Singaporean, or American and still identify as 华人.
And that brings us to 华语,
华语
which also refers to Mandarin.
Especially in countries like Singapore and Malaysia, where there is a large population of 华人, people often use the term 华语 instead of 汉语.
And in Taiwan, more and more Mandarin centers use the name 华语中心 as their official title.
So now we've talked about 中文, 汉语, and 华语. But there's another set of names students often hear, especially once they actually start studying.
Yep. Words like 国语
国语
and 普通话.
普通话
What do these words mean?
They're simply different names for standard Mandarin.
In Taiwan, Mandarin is the official standard language, so we call it 国语, which literally means national language.
In China, people use 普通话, which literally means common speech.
All right, that was a lot of similar words. Let's quickly recap.
Okay, so the first one, the broad everyday term for Chinese.
中文
The more academic term that emphasizes Han ethnicity.
汉语
The term that highlights cultural identity.
华语
The name for standard Mandarin in Taiwan.
国语
And the name for standard Mandarin in China.
普通话 Now it's your turn. In one sentence, can you tell us 你在学什么语言?
For example, you can say 我在学中文 我在学汉语 or 我在学华语 Which one feels right to you?
If you enjoyed today's episode and want the full transcript, vocabulary list, and structured study guide, check out our podcast notes.
And if you like to practice using these words naturally in conversations, you can book a free consultation with us.
All the details are in the show notes.
Thanks for listening. 谢谢你们，下次见。I hope you find today's episode helpful. Stay tuned for more interesting topics. We also offer excellent Chinese lessons. Just go to our website and have a look. 谢谢你们，下次见。